What's going on, Cubs fam? We are back for another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video, and today, my friends, I am excited to talk about the most absolutely overrated characters in all of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And to talk about this subject, I have brought on the one and only legendary Grievous. What's going on, Grid?
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me back. It's only fitting that because I feel like I'm overrated too. So it's a great video to make together.
Most overrated Galaxy of Heroes YouTubers of 2020. Number one, Gridden. All right, let's.
Okay. Yeah. Number two cuts.
We've been getting ready for this video for like 30 minutes, and all we've been doing is laughing. I don't know what's happening, so brace yourselves for whatever's coming. I'm not sure exactly what's gonna happen here, but we do have 10 characters to talk to you about and why we feel like they're overrated. Now, we're gonna be considering these characters and their usability in the game itself from an mostly Grand Arena perspective is gonna kind of be our primary focus here. We're not thinking about like, you know, is so-and-so needed for X and X? Do you need to farm them for X and X? That's boring. We're just talking about how usable they are in the game. So let's talk about the first one here, Gridden. JTR. Why is JTR overrated?
She has been resorted to, in my opinion, at least. Again, kind of keeping in the perspective of GAC. She's resorted to a counter for crew. I really don't use her for much else. Like, I dedicate sometimes bounty hunters, but like that's what she's for, and she's there for the heal immunity ability that can't be dispelled. Like, that's pretty much all I use her for.
That's pretty much it. Like, nobody's using her on defense. That's where you use her on offense. And you know what? When you get a relic first order team, and especially a first order team that puts Hux in there, even JTR kind of has no use anymore, because the one place that, like, her only job is now not as usable as it used to be.
Yeah. Then she gets bumped down to
like Old Republic or something.
Exactly what I was going to say. Either like bounty hunters or maybe Old Republic. And you're like, I am using what used to be a top meta character to beat Karth and friends.
Yeah. Do you remember when JTR hit? The outrage. I want to go back and talk to me back then and how everyone was upset about the vets, and I just want to be like, that's cute.
That's adorable.
That's adorable that you guys are upset about that.
I did it once. I went and found my post on the SWGoH forums.
Oh no!
I have my account.
Did you rage?
Oh yeah, dude. I was raging about I raged about how difficult Galactic War was.
Dude, we used to do that though. Like the last couple nodes used to be pretty tough, and then they nerfed it, and that's been irrelevant ever since.
Yep.
All right, so number two. This is not in any particular order, by the way. This is just 10 characters, although there's one that we feel is maybe very number one. But number two in this non-ordered list is HK47. And the reason why I feel like HK47 is overrated is especially when you pull him out of the Sith Empire team. Like, I try to find use for him in droid teams, and I just struggle to get him to do much, even at Relic.
I mean, he has baby uses maybe here or there. You could kind of throw him somewhere, but outside of that Sith Empire team, you're kind of like, well, I mean, especially like mine. You just kind of like leave him over there on the roster if he doesn't make it. Now, especially in like 3v3, you can kind of use him depending on how you want to split your Sith Empire team, but a lot of times you don't, and so he just sits over there on the roster and just hangs out on the bench.
I've had many Grand Arenas where I just straight up did not even use him. Just didn't use him. Yeah. Mine's
I'd still need a lot of work on my Sith Empire, but mine's only gear 12, no Zetas. So especially like that, I'm like, I got nowhere to throw you, buddy.
I got it. You're like Jeff Probst in Survivor. Got nothing for you. All right, let's move on to the next one. We got Brood Alpha. Now, Brood Alpha, I'm gonna say on defense, he's overrated. I feel like his better use in this game nowadays is on offense, and the reason why is because people are so autopilot with how they counter bugs at this point. Just add Trai, your bug spray, it's handled pretty efficiently. Now, there's a lot of places to use HK47 outside of that on offense, and in that respect, I'm going to say he's probably not super overrated. I think you can find some pretty good use for him, but on defense, overrated, in my opinion. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, with GBA, I mean, he made quite the impact when he first came out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that really caught people off guard, and you had no idea really what you were doing. But yeah, the second you figured out back then, which was really funny with Jawas.
Yeah.
First, like before people leveled up and relic their Geos.
Right.
Like even my Gear 8, Gear 9, Gear 10 Jawas were taking out some of these Geos, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But then they took him up to relic, and it's a little bit more difficult. Then you're like, all right, here's Trai. And
all right, here's Trai. Just have Trai.
Then,
even Gear 12 Trai in many cases is taking on relic bugs with relative ease, enough that they're not going to cause any wins. Maybe they strip banners. It's pretty much the best they're going to be good for at this point, right? Stripping banners.
Yeah, very rarely do I see them getting the absolute wins. It happens. Sometimes you get an unfortunate shot by Geospy that drops someone, but I feel like they're very, very safe teams now. I've actually been seeing a lot of times that people are taking GBA out of a full Geo team and putting it with a different Separatist team instead now.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, and instead of having a full Geo team. So I feel like that time is, you're kind of just like, all right, I don't know what to do with you.
Nah. Yeah. So on defense, overrated. All right, next up we got fives. Now I'm gonna get some hate for this one. Let me tell you why I think fives is overrated. On a defensive team, fives teaches the AI, takes the AI by the hand and tells them how to fight him. He tells the AI to attack himself first because he's going to add the taunt. Fives nerfs his own kit, and I think that's a big problem because obviously you want those bonuses to trigger. You attack somebody else, 5 sacrifices, the bonuses make the team unbearable. I've made this mistake way too many times than I'm willing to admit. But on the AI will be led over to fives because of that taunt, and in many cases take out fives first. So what do you think, Gridden? Am I reaching? I
can see it. I feel like when they redesigned his kit, they had General Skywalker in mind.
Yes.
Because it's only he taunts if no one else is already taunting. And
Right.
so, they had it in mind. It was going to be primarily with General Skywalker. I mean, when are you in the 3 minus, if you remove 3v3, like you don't use fives without General Skywalker, like almost never. And so I understand it was kind of geared towards that. But yeah, if you take out General Skywalker, he nerfs himself. It makes his Zeta almost irrelevant.
Right.
So I can understand where that comes from. I can see the logic in that one because it does. Yeah. So he teaches the AI to beat him.
The logic I gave is 60% of my reasoning. The other 40% of my reasoning is because of Rage and Elephant. Anyway, let's go on. Next up, we got Talzin. Now, I feel like Talzin is in the same league as Geonosian Brood Alpha, where people they have their Night Sister counter at this point. How many people? I mean, we've been fighting Night Sister teams for how long? And you've just got an answer for it. Add Padme or Bounty Hunters if your Bounty Hunters are as dope as mine are, etc. And so how do you feel about that? Do you feel like Talzin's overrated?
A little bit, because like if someone were to ask me what is the #1 Night Sister, like if you're talking relics or something of that sort, who should you take up? I'd actually say Daka. I wouldn't, and even maybe before Talzin would also possibly be Asajj.
I would say that too. Yeah,
Talzin, she really switched things up. There's that interesting moment with the weird team where it was like what, Rex, Wampa, Talzin, Shore Trooper, and like GK.
Are you
really
saying Talzin? Like Talzin?
Talzin. I pronounce things weird.
All right,
I say Palpatine, like Paul.
Paul? His
know.
name is not Paul.
I know.
He's a Palpatine.
I know he's a Palpatine.
F in the chat for Gridden, man. F in the chat.
Talzin, Palpatine. I don't know, dude.
I agree though. I think Daka, and should I say Dolka, and Asajj are both better than Talzin.
Yeah, and so she had her moment. She really threw people off with the plague mechanic for sure. But once you know what you're doing, it's very easy to handle. So I could see it.
Sith Empire Troopers next up on the list. I just don't feel like he adds very much value to the Darth. I feel like the main place you want to use Sith Empire Trooper is when you're mirror matching Darth Revan and you have a slower Darth Revan and you want to lead that insanity over to Sith Empire Trooper. Other than that, he's just not the best option for that team. Sith Marauder, in my humble opinion, is much, much better there. And in today's climate, you're not seeing that mirror match as much anymore because you're running into a lot more General Skywalker, Galactic Legends, etc. in the arena, and you're probably not mirror matching him in your grand arenas. And so, in my humble opinion, Sith Empire Trooper overrated, no longer as useful.
Yeah, he's he kind of sits more like back on the EP teams again.
Yeah,
useful as a tank there. You have enough tanks, especially just like you're saying with the Galactic Legends. You will drop like Sith Empire Trooper, and a better tank is actually GBA, for example, in there. And Sith Empire Trooper, I just feel like he's kind of lost his use. I use mine now in the weirdest. I use them with Savage. I do a Savage lead, Sith Empire Trooper, and Darkside Basti for a team.
Huh?
Like he's not even with Sith Empire at all anymore.
Fascinating.
So yeah, I don't even use him there at all. So yeah, kind of falling off, a little bit overrated as a tank, but he had his moment.
He had his moment. Yeah, I think especially when we were in the Darth Revan meta, in the middle of the thick of that, he would not have been overrated because I feel like for anyone without the faster mods, he was essential. But we're past that, and so now I think his time is kind of coming on, like you said. All right, next up, Rey. Galactic Legend Rey. Now, look, this might be reaching a bit because she's only overrated by one spot, but I think there's still this general idea that Rey is the best character in this game, and she's not. It's Galactic Legend Kylo, in my opinion. Do you agree?
100%. I've been making that recommendation to a lot of people, and you've seen even some other content creators who are like, I feel bad that I went for Rey. I'm kind of bummed. And there's so many people who are like, well, I got Rey. She's great on defense. I'm sure, like, you're not going to be upset by having a Galactic
She's still
Legend.
good. Yeah, she's still the second best.
But at the end of the day, it's like, well, Kylo can do pretty much everything that Rey's doing on top of that, soloing raids, on top of beating all these other teams, as well as comfortably beating Rey. And you end up with a better team at the end of the day, and you don't have to farm worse tunes like Rose. So I feel like,
now we're not factoring in characters that you have to farm, but in this case we will, because who wants to relic Rose Tico?
Yeah, I mean, that's just a factor play. But if you, I feel like when we read her kit, and me included, I could go back in my video and see that I was like, oh my god, this is insane with all the damage immunity, dirt. And really, it's great, obviously, but it's like Kylo's the way to go. So
So between the two, in a microcosm of those two, she's overrated.
Yeah.
Other than that, she's still pretty freaking good. All right, next up, this is overrated by Capital Games.
100%.
Ki-Adi-Mundi. This dude, like, with how hard it is to get him, and compared to Wat Tambor, his correspondent from the other territory battle that came out alongside Darkside territory battle, what the hell are they doing with freaking Ki-Adi-Mundi, man?
Yeah.
There's nowhere to use him. He's not even that good when you do use him. Like,
yeah. And like when people are talking like theory crafting, people are like, oh, Qui-Gon Jinn lead would be cool. And I'm like, what? That's where we're thinking about putting this man? Like, I'm
Qui-Gon
sure.
Jinn, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. And it's like, maybe, obviously you could see him. He could maybe get some, I wouldn't know what to do with him. I don't know. I don't really care, man. Just like, I don't know. He needs a buff.
Like, with how hard it is to get this guy, he needs some kind of buff, like some kind of like Wookiee rush, or maybe droids attacking Wookiees. I don't know. Something needs to happen for retribution for this guy, because he's just not good. I'm not even looking forward to unlocking him. I'm about to unlock him.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, he'll sit on my roster.
Yep. Somewhere. Well, gear 1. All right. Next up, here's what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna put you right up here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna hide right here. Okay, so Gridden, you got the screen. All right. The next one is Gridden's idea, and it's Grievous. I'm hiding. You have the
General
floor.
Grievous. Hear me out here. Hear me out. Look at me. I am. This is my channel now. General Grievous. Hear me out here, guys. He is a great tune. We know that. None of these characters are like bad tunes to have. But when it comes to General Grievous, you know exactly what you need to do to beat him, and you never really get too scared if you got the proper team when you're going up against him. You know what you got to do? You got Padme, or you got Jedi Knight Revan, or Darth Revan, and you just make your way through the team. You know what you need to do. And especially in 3v3, very safe team. You got Padme, you got Jedi Knight Revan, you just walk through the team. And he had his moment where he was used in the Suicide Squad or that nuke team to kill the Malaks and to kill the Darth Revens and all that great stuff. He's not a bad tune, but it's just nowadays he is used on defense to steal some banners during GAC. And that's about it, in my opinion. So a little overrated, I think.
All right, so please direct all of your comments on Grievous to Gridden specifically. I can see your logic. No, I'm gonna be honest. I can see your logic. I'm not sure I'm sold on him being overrated. He's so OP at Relic 7, and I'm actually getting a lot of use of him on offense now because I feel like people are just too accustomed to using him on defense, and I feel like everyone has an answer to Grievous, especially in 3v3. I think it's a lot easier. Yeah. But and with Jedi Revan, it's even like it's not hard to get around the banner stealing. You can still 60 banner or whatever the max is for 3v3. All right. Yeah. Our last character. Okay, go ahead.
You're using him on offense. What if he's going up against a Rex 5s and Xeris?
So Gridden is attempting to get a rise out of me because this is a team I recently lost to in Grand Arena. And I'm going to be the bigger person and say, Gridden, go to hell. All right. Trai is number 10 on this list.
Yep.
She's just really fallen out of favor. Like, how is a character as notorious as Trai was when she first came out been isolated to being a, pun intended there, to being a counter to a single team? Everybody uses her for bugs, and there's almost no other use for her in the game right now. I mean, maybe if you're getting creative, but it feels like, for the most part, almost everybody is only using her to counter bugs.
I couldn't really tell you anything else to do with her. That's what she's dedicated for on my GAC. It's the same thing like with JTR. I leave JTR for either crew or bounty hunters, and I leave Trai for either Geos, and if they happen to not put Geos on defense, then I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll just go beat some other team.
Okay.
But you're just kind of like, I don't know what to do with her otherwise. Yeah, she's just been dedicated to a Geo counter. Like, that's what she's fallen to. A Sith triumvirate. Sith Lord triumvirate is dedicated to countering bugs.
Twice the pride, double the fall. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for this video. Gridden, before we end this godforsaken list with Grievous on it, any other comments you want to make to the Cubs fam? Anything you want to call out? This is your moment.
No, just thanks for having me on. I appreciate you. It's always fun to make these videos together, and I'm surprised we didn't say D's nuts at all during this video.
I was just about to say it. I was like, I'm just gonna end the video by saying D's nuts.